The Zenith Concorde fleet hovered silently at the edge of the Sol system, its sleek organic ships blending seamlessly with the void. Admiral Vrex stood tall in the command chamber of the flagship Celestial Arbiter, his bioluminescent exoskeleton glowing faintly in the dim light. The Yalathian's multifaceted eyes focused on the holographic display before him, which showed a swirling blue-green world teeming with life. "This is the primitive world called Earth, Admiral," said Science Officer Lixa, her voice tinged with uncertainty. The Jurathan scientist's translucent skin shimmered faintly as she gestured at the hologram. "Its inhabitants call themselves humans? Their technology is rudimentary by our standards, but their growth curve is anomalous." Vrex scoffed. "Anomalous? They are barely past combustion propulsion. Their transmissions are a cacophony of conflict and triviality. This is not a species of consequence." Lixa hesitated. "Respectfully, Admiral, their history suggests otherwise. They have a peculiar tendency to adapt under pressure. Their capacity for invention, particularly during times of conflict, is unlike anything we've documented." Vrex waved a clawed hand dismissively. "Every fledgling species fights among themselves before maturing. The Concorde's guidance will tame them." Lixa frowned but said nothing. She had studied Earth's archives, painstakingly deciphered from intercepted electromagnetic transmissions, and saw something dangerous in the humans. Their wars were brutal, their victories hard-won. Yet there was a resilience, a stubborn refusal to yield that defied logic. She knew better than to argue with Vrex, whose arrogance often blinded him to nuance. The fleet advanced, slipping into the inner solar system undetected. Using cloaked drones, they began monitoring Earth's activity. To the Zenith Concorde, Earth was a curiosity, a fractured world with countless nations, conflicting ideologies, and a chaotic media landscape. Their analysis painted humanity as disorganized primitives, loud, reckless, and unthreatening. The drones reported fascinating anomalies. Humans had developed nuclear weapons but rarely used them, preferring to fight with conventional arms or through economic and cyber warfare. They had launched a modest array of satellites, some of which barely functioned, and their manned space programs were laughably limited. Yet, despite these shortcomings, humans had an inexplicable knack for making the most of their limited resources. "These creatures are unpredictable," Lixa warned during a council briefing aboard the Celestial Arbiter. "Their methods appear chaotic, but there's a pattern to their madness. If we underestimate them, it could prove costly." The Zenith Council members dismissed her concerns with condescending murmurs. Vrex leaned forward, his mandibles clicking in irritation. "We are not here to debate the potential of a savage species. The Concorde has determined that Earth must be pacified and integrated before their chaos spills beyond their world." Lixa bit back her frustration. The Concorde viewed humanity's unpredictability as a flaw to be corrected. To Lixa it felt more like a warning. On Earth, the first signs of alien presence caused confusion. Amateur astronomers spotted strange lights near the moon, which vanished before official observatories could verify them. In the following days, satellites began malfunctioning, their signals scrambled or lost entirely. Governments scrambled for answers, their militaries placed on high alert. When Zenith drones descended into Earth's atmosphere to begin reconnaissance, panic spread across the globe. Grainy footage of glowing orbs over major cities dominated news cycles. Conspiracy theories proliferated, ranging from secret military experiments to divine intervention. Behind closed doors, world leaders convened emergency meetings, struggling to parse the threat. The Zenith Council observed this chaos with amusement. "See how they flail," Vrex said, watching a live feed of conflicting human broadcasts. "Their lack of unity makes them easy prey." But humans had a peculiar way of turning confusion into resolve. By the third day, nations that were normally adversaries had begun sharing intelligence. The major powers, once fractured by distrust, formed a temporary coalition. Dubbed Operation Hornet Sting, it united Earth's brightest minds and most advanced technologies under a single goal: repel the intruders. When Zenith drones approached too closely, humanity responded. A network of ground-based railguns and missile silos hidden in the wilderness came online, coordinated through a newly devised encrypted satellite link. The first salvo destroyed dozens of drones, shocking the Zenith fleet. Vrex's mandibles twitched in annoyance. Primitive overconfidence. Deploy a broader wave. A second wave of drones descended, this time targeting critical infrastructure. The Zenith fleet expected panic. Instead, Earth adapted. Military forces began coordinating attacks from fortified positions, using unconventional tactics to draw the drones into ambushes. Civilians evacuated urban centers with an efficiency that defied the Zenith's projections. Lixa watched the data streams with growing unease. Admiral, their response is too rapid for a primitive species. They've already begun countermeasures based on our technology. It's a fluke, Vrex snapped, but even he couldn't ignore the mounting losses. What should have been a simple operation was turning into a costly engagement. By the week's end, humanity had scored its first major victory. A Zenith scout vessel shot down over the Pacific. The wreckage was quickly recovered and whisked away to secret facilities, where human scientists began reverse engineering its alien components. Lixa's unease solidified into certainty. They are learning, Admiral. Faster than any species we've encountered. We must reconsider our approach. Vrex's eyes gleamed with anger. No. We will remind these creatures why the Concord rules the stars. But deep in her core, Lixa knew. Humanity would not be conquered so easily. Cliffhanger. As the Zenith fleet prepared its next strike, a global broadcast from Earth interrupted their communications. The message was simple and chilling: you are not welcome here. Leave or face the consequences. The battle for Earth began in earnest as humanity unleashed its fury. Across the planet, a unified defense effort coalesced into an extraordinary show of force. Major powers, often divided by politics and conflict, now shared intelligence and coordinated strikes as part of Operation Hornet's Sting. While humanity's technology lagged behind the Zenith Concords in sophistication, sheer ingenuity and determination transformed the battlefield into a crucible of chaos. Above Earth, the Celestial Arbiter led the Zenith fleet in its assault. The sleek alien ships deployed waves of automated drones to disable Earth's critical infrastructure. Power grids failed, satellites were disabled, and cities plunged into darkness. Yet humanity's response defied expectations. Where the Zenith expected fear and collapse, they found defiance. In a hidden military bunker in Colorado, General Elena Vasquez barked orders into a console. Activate the orbital railguns. Target the lead ship. Her team of technicians moved with surgical precision, feeding real-time data from salvage drones into their targeting systems. The Hornet's Nest Defense Array, a last-minute collaboration between global powers, came online with an electric hum. Moments later, a barrage of kinetic projectiles shot into space. Zenith ships dodged with ease at first. Then one projectile struck the hull of a cruiser, splitting it in two. The debris spiraled into a second ship, setting off a chain reaction that destroyed three more. Admiral Vrex slammed a clawed fist against the control panel of his flagship. How are they doing this? He hissed. His frustration mounted as reports streamed in of losses both in orbit and on the ground. Lixa, monitoring the chaos, offered a grim explanation. Their adaptability is remarkable. They're using our own technology against us. She pointed to intercepted signals. They've deciphered some of our communications protocols. They're coordinating with precision. Then increase the pressure. Vrex barked. Deploy ground units and disrupt their command centers. In the dense urban sprawl of Tokyo, Zenith ground troops emerged, their shimmering armor refracting light in alien patterns. These biomechanical soldiers, designed for precision and intimidation, began their march through the city, disabling defense systems and rounding up civilians. But humans refused to be cowed. Organized resistance fighters emerged from the shadows, armed with advanced hybrid weapons forged from captured Zenith drones. Using guerrilla tactics, they struck with a ferocity that caught the invaders off guard. Makeshift EMP devices, crafted from scavenged components, shorted out the Zenith troops' advanced systems, forcing them into direct combat. In one alley, a young engineer named Aiko Nakamura led a ragtag group of defenders. She detonated a crude EMP charge, dropping 3 Zenith soldiers in their tracks. Move. Take their gear, she shouted, her voice cutting through the chaos. Her team swarmed the fallen soldiers, salvaging parts to build yet another weapon for the next skirmish. In orbit, the battle grew more desperate. Humanity had launched an array of nuclear missiles from hidden silos and submarines. Though many were intercepted, a handful detonated near key Zenith vessels, the resulting electromagnetic pulses wreaking havoc on their systems. The Celestial Arbiter trembled as shock waves buffeted its shields. Vrex clenched his mandibles in disbelief. This was supposed to be a simple pacification, he muttered. Lixa turned to him, her voice firm. Admiral, we're underestimating them. These humans fight like no species we've encountered. Their chaos is their strength. By the battle's end, the Zenith fleet was bloodied. Dozens of ships had been lost, and their ground forces were retreating under heavy fire. Vrex ordered a temporary withdrawal to reassess their strategy, leaving humanity momentarily victorious. On Earth, celebrations were muted. General Vasquez stood atop a command center, watching exhausted soldiers and engineers work tirelessly to rebuild. "We may have pushed them back," she said to her second-in-command, "but they'll come again. And next time we won't just defend. We'll take the fight to them." The message was clear: humanity wasn't just surviving. It was preparing to sting again. Cliffhanger. In the debris of a downed Zenith ship, human scientists discovered a critical weakness in the alien fleet's power systems. As they worked in secret, Earth's leaders prepared for the next phase of the war. Deep in the Amazon rainforest, the wreckage of the Zenith flagship Celestial Vanguard lay half-submerged in a swamp. Smoke curled into the humid air as survivors scrambled to establish a perimeter. Admiral Vrex, his armor scorched and cracked, limped through the tangled underbrush, issuing orders to his remaining crew. Around him the jungle buzzed with life, noisy, chaotic and hostile, much like the humans themselves. "We must signal the fleet," Vrex growled, his voice a strained rasp. "We cannot remain stranded in this hostile wilderness." Science Officer Lixa adjusted a portable transmitter, her translucent fingers moving with urgency. "Admiral, our communications are compromised. The humans are jamming our frequencies. They've already deciphered much of our technology." Vrex slammed a clawed hand against the transmitter, his frustration palpable. "Oh, they're primitives?" Lix's patience was wearing thin. "They are not primitives, Admiral. Their capacity to adapt and reverse engineer is unparalleled. If we do not reassess..." A loud explosion cut her off. In the distance, the Zenith's improvised perimeter defenses erupted in flame. Human guerrilla fighters were closing in, using the cover of the dense jungle to their advantage. The attackers moved like shadows. They were local militias supported by global forces, armed with a combination of Earth-made weapons and scavenged Zenith technology. Among them was Commander David Chin, a former aerospace engineer turned resistance leader. His team crouched low in the undergrowth, their faces streaked with mud to blend into the jungle. Chin spoke into his headset. "Team Alpha, set the charges on their power core. Team Bravo, cover their retreat. Keep it quiet." The humans advanced with methodical precision. EMP grenades disabled Zenith sensors, forcing the alien crew to rely on their limited visual and auditory senses. Zenith soldiers, built for direct confrontations and reliant on advanced targeting systems, found themselves at a disadvantage in the chaotic environment. One by one, alien sentries fell. The humans moved swiftly, salvaging weapons and equipment from the fallen to use against their foes. Inside the wreckage, Lixa watched the battle unfold on a flickering display. She couldn't help but feel a growing respect for humanity. Their strategies were unorthodox, their methods resourceful, and their willpower unmatched. "Admiral," she said cautiously, "we should retreat deeper into the jungle. This position is untenable." Vrex glared at her, his pride wounded. "Retreat? From them? Never. Admiral, this is not a battle we can win. These humans fight as if the jungle itself aids them. They will not stop until we are destroyed." Vrex's mandibles clicked angrily, but he said nothing. Chen's team reached the heart of the Zenith wreckage, where the ship's damaged power core pulsed faintly. As they planted charges, Chen glanced at the alien symbols etched into the machinery. "This tech is incredible," he muttered. "If we can study this..." His thoughts were interrupted by Lixa stepping into the chamber, hands raised in a gesture of surrender. "Wait," she said in halting English. "I can help." Chen and his team raised their weapons, suspicion etched on their faces. "Why would you help us?" Chen demanded. "Because you've already proven something my people refuse to admit," Lixa replied. "Humanity isn't just surviving this war. You're winning it. And I believe you can win the galaxy too." Outside, the jungle exploded in chaos as the charges detonated, sending the Zenith power core into a fiery cascade. Lixa led Chen and his team to safety, her defection cementing a fragile alliance. Vrex, watching from the shadows as his forces crumbled, clenched his claws in fury. "This isn't over," he muttered, retreating deeper into the jungle. Cliffhanger. With Lixa's help, humanity gained critical insight into the Zenith fleet's weaknesses. As Earth's leaders consolidated their newfound advantage, a single chilling question loomed. When the Zenith returned, would humanity be ready to strike first? The Zenith fleet retreated to the edges of the solar system, its once pristine ships battered and scarred. On the command deck of the Celestial Arbiter, Admiral Vrex stared out at Earth, a faint blue dot in the distance. His claws tightened around the edge of his console, his mind consumed with bitterness and disbelief. This was meant to be a pacification, he growled. How did it come to this? Science Officer Lixa's absence weighed heavily. Her betrayal, as he saw it, was only the latest in a string of failures. But what gnawed at him most was humanity itself. He had underestimated them. No, the entire Zenith Concord had. Admiral, an officer interrupted, we've intercepted a human broadcast. It's for you? Vrex glared at the screen as the transmission began. The image was grainy, but the voice was unmistakably human. General Elena Vasquez spoke with calm defiance. To the Zenith Concord, you came to our world uninvited, seeking to subdue us. You believed our chaos was weakness. But you learned the truth. We do not break. We do not yield. And if you return, you will find Earth ready to meet you again, this time on your terms. Leave now or face the swarm. The message ended abruptly, leaving Vrex seething. He slammed his fist onto the console. Prepare the fleet for another strike. We will not be humiliated by these creatures. A communications officer hesitated. Admiral, the Council has ordered a full withdrawal. We are to return to Concord space and regroup. Vrex's mandibles clicked furiously, but he could not defy the Council. Very well, he muttered. Set course for the Lyra Nexus. This isn't over. On Earth, celebrations were cautious. The skies were clear of alien ships, but the scars of battle remained. Cities rebuilt, militaries rearmed, and scientists worked feverishly in hidden facilities to unravel the secrets of Zenith technology. In one such lab, Commander David Chin stood beside Lixa as they examined a captured Zenith power core. If we can replicate this, Chin said, we'll be able to power ships capable of deep space travel. Maybe even build a fleet? Lixa nodded. But your strength lies not just in technology. It's in your unpredictability, your resilience. The Concord will return, but they will find a species far more dangerous than they left behind. Chin smirked. They'll regret ever setting foot here. In the halls of the Zenith Concord Central Council, the aftermath of the Earth campaign sparked furious debate. Many species, once unwavering in their belief in the Concord's superiority, began to question its future. The name Earth became synonymous with resistance, and whispers of the hornet's nest spread across the galaxy. Some suggested diplomacy. Others, like Vrex, demanded vengeance. But one truth was clear: humanity was no longer an afterthought. Months later, in the cold reaches of space, a Zenith scout ship was intercepted near Proxima Centauri. The small vessel was outmatched by an unmarked human craft bristling with hybrid weapons. A transmission crackled across the void. This is Earth territory now. Turn back, or face the swarm. The humans had taken their first steps beyond their world, and the galaxy was about to learn that the Hornets had only just begun to leave their nest. Epilogue. On Earth, a unified council of nations prepared for the next phase. Humanity, once fractured, stood together as one. Their scars had become armor, their chaos a weapon. And when the time came, they would not wait to be attacked again, they would take the fight to the stars. Final line. The Zenith Concord had awakened something it could not control. Earth was no longer just a planet, it was a force. A hornet's nest, buzzing with fury, ready to swarm.